kick his ass.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman. Wait. Don't do it, Cartman. Wait.
We're switching over. Hey, everybody. We're live on YouTube. Hello. What's up? I don't know. I got really not much to say starting off for what I've been up to because, since I've been back, I've been kind of taking September as a fuck off kind of time period. So I've done a lot of nothing except for like sound work, which is, whatever. It's fine.
Right.
It's work, just working. But other than that, just sitting on my ass doing nothing. No, I did get some editing done today, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, on Portrait of Payback?
Portrait of Payback. It's kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of nice today because I kind of haven't really looked at the footage in a minute, being away for a while. I don't know. Then kind of not looking at it and then going back into it, I feel less depressed about things.
Sure. I went through months of that with our movie, and it's it's been a whole thing. I still go a couple of rounds with it whenever somebody else starts to watch it. You know what I mean? Whenever somebody sees it for the first time, I kind of go back through the same sort of like throes of pain.
Yeah, hopefully, nobody should be watching this anytime soon. No, but it's getting there, man. Dwayne just looks badass as fuck. I never thought in my life I'm going to edit a video where Dwayne slaps a dude in the face with a dildo. That's just like, there he is right there. Steeler Wick is back for the next sequel.
Steeler and right. Dixie's in the chat. We got them
Dixie's
both.
In the chat, man. We
got them both.
Hell yeah.
You're going to hear my dog a lot tonight, everybody. I do apologize. Jen's crashing out. She's got a new gig working early in the mornings, so I'm low key just over here feeding this chick treats.
Jen was telling about her new job. I keep promising her a playlist that I haven't been too lazy to make, but I will send it, Jen. You're out. I will send the playlist.
You have to send the playlist. Period. That's it. Done.
But how's your week going? How's it going post trauma dance?
Really, really good actually. Like that's the big thing. It's going like it was an adjustment coming back.
Yeah.
Because you ride that high of people.
Did you get sick at all?
Did I get sick?
Yeah. Did you catch anything at all?
No, I didn't. Why were people getting sick?
I got a little sick after Trevor Dance, and so did the other boys a little bit.
Oh shit! Who were y'all making?
Nothing COVID related. I did get tested, but it was just I got a little sniffly, and even now I'm fine. But I had a little throat phlegm.
I'm like, who were you guys making out with that night? It was. That's all I can think.
Was it you?
It was at one point I did kiss Derek, but not like open mouth or nothing. Just
I've seen the photo.
just a friendly little peck. And in that photo, you guys can check it out on either Shithouse or at Yarn Yeti on Instagram. You can check it out there. But it was very much closed mouth, pursed lips. I think I look reluctant, and Derek looks very happy. That's what
seems about.
Yeah. That's
Derek seems like the instigator in that situation.
It was either him or Jen was like kiss.
Oh, Jen.
Somebody said kiss and we did.
Somebody just yelling in the back of the room, kiss him.
Kiss him. Well, I've done worse over time. I'll say it. Derek's a good enough looking guy.
He's so damn gay.
He's a movie star. You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
he's a fucking movie star.
When a movie star wants to kiss you, just do it, right?
You just go for it. But no, getting readjusted is sort of back to the daily grind. I did take a very interesting part-time job. A very, very interesting part-time job for the season. Just because I get bored with my daily routine. So I low-key started working at a local haunted house.
Oh, are you scaring people?
No, I am not one of the scare actors. I am not. I'm event staff, and right now they've got me on the exit gate. And bro, I love it. I love it. I went to.
Are you doing any art department?
No,
Like that cross,
dude. So and because I don't know like legalities or whatever, but this is a major like chain. They own haunted houses across the country. It's one of the bigger groups.
What's it called?
The one that I'm working at is Nashville Nightmare, but
Okay.
but the company is called 13th Floor Entertainment. And so
Got it. Opposite of Kelly Polk's 13th Floor.
right, it's actually FLOOR.
Oh, okay.
Well, and apparently Dixie Gers used to work there. So that's what she's saying in the chat. Anyway, yeah,
So yeah, you can't do art department?
well, I came in late, right? Like they've already got their team, they've already got the warehouse set up, they've got all of that going like full nine, right? I like I said, I kind of got bored and I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I've always wanted to work at one of these. I'm going to see if there's one in the area, if they're hiring. And sure as all get out, dude, I looked it up and they said, yeah, we're still hiring for event staff. And it was the day before I left for Trauma Dance. I got a phone call from the lady and she was like, can you be there Saturday for our rehearsal? And I was like, absolutely not. I will be in New York. Is there any way I can start at the next one? And they were like, yeah. So I went in Saturday, and because I'm brand new, they put me straight up on the exit. And what we did Saturday was super cool. So normally they'll have the event staff walk through the house so the scare actors can do their thing, right?
Yeah.
So this Saturday, it was the scare actors acting as our customers, right? So they flipped the roles and they had them go outside of the building, outside of the grounds, and then it was like you're coming in to enjoy Nashville Nightmare. And then they handed them all like scenarios. So they had kids trying to shop.
They had to like pretend to like be there.
Yeah.
Like pretend that's popping out.
Oh no. So it's a huge grounds, and then you go in through all the lines and stuff, and then there are like 5 or 6 shops along the way. There's a photo booth.
Okay.
But this was like they planted knives on people for security to find, like with the wands and shit. They handed them all scenario cards. So there were like kids that were supposed to be where I was at that had tickets and they just wanted to come in through the exit because they wanted to skip the line. So one of my tests was being like, oh, that's awesome. You have tickets? Great. The line is right over there. You see those guys with security? Everybody has to go through there, you know? So it's finding that, how are you going to react when people do that?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard with like scare actors too, it's like pretty much a pretty dangerous job to do because people will just fucking beat the shit out of you.
So low key, another friend of mine that I had no idea was working there. I show up, I get in my spot, and then I spy him from across the way, and I was like, "What is he doing here? Why is he here right now?" Turns out he's one of the actors for the season. So I show up and there's a kid I know working there, which is pretty chill. But my other two scenarios were one lady who had to go to her car to get something, and then she was pissed off because I wouldn't let her back in the gate because no matter what, you always have to go back around. And then the other lady was like, "But I told you I would be right back. It doesn't matter if you tell me you're going to be right back. Like I told you had to
Gotta lay down that law."
Dude. I actually, not that I took it too far, but I couldn't hear over the radio that we were outside of the scenario. I seriously, I didn't hear it was over, and they had already closed the top of the gate off. And at that point, when they do that, the only way in and out is the exit. And one of the actors comes up to me and she goes, "This is not part of the scenario. I don't have the white card. They told me the top was closed. If I run to my car, can I come back in?" And I was like, "No, nobody gets back in and out." And she was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "That's what they told me. They told me only 2 people have access in and out, and that's the people that run it. I can't let."
Well, you think you're special, huh?
That's what.
Just because you're an actor, you think you're special?
I was like, I can't let you back in. So then I have to call a lady over the radio.
Sorry, Tom Cruise, you just cannot get back in.
Sorry, Tom. Yeah, seriously, Tom Cruise couldn't get back in. Tom Cruise probably couldn't come in anyway. I'm just saying. I don't think security would let that guy in. But anyway, so long story short, the supervisor comes over and says, "You wouldn't let her back in?" And I was like, "Y'all told me 2 people get in and out. She's not one of those 2 people. I didn't know it was over." And this lady cracks the biggest smile, gives me a high five, and then gives me one of those like finger guns, like, you're good. And then and she leaves. And I go to put the radio away or whatever. And on my way out, I go to talk to him and just to make sure everything was cool. And the lady who runs our group was like, "That's amazing. Yeah, tell me about your other 2 scenarios real quick." I did. And she was like, "You want to work exit?" I was like, I will take your exit all the time. So I'm on exit, baby. I'm on exit.
Hell yeah. Look at that. Making some money.
All I got to do, James, is literally just stand there, not be an asshole, point people to the direction, and then people watch all night. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, it sounds like a good job for you. You love to people watch.
Dude, I was telling my buddy that works there. I was telling him that what was it? When I was a kid, I used to go to the mall and like I would buy a CD or whatever and do my little shopping and everything, and then I would just go and find a bench and sit down. And I would sit there for like 2-3 hours and just people watch. Like I'm born for it. And wait for
just gossip to yourself in your head.
And just wait for shit to pop off. Like that's the biggest thing. Yeah, we've got a couple of other people in the chat tonight. Amy,
yeah, the chat's
it's
going up
wonderful. Good, thank you guys for being here. Amy, Wandering Robot, nice to see you. Yeah. Anyway, dude, it's going to be a good season. On a busy night, they get upwards of like 5,000 people.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully don't get too rowdy people.
All
I
of
mean,
them.
you know, we've been the rowdy people at haunted houses before.
I could tell you some stories. What's your best haunted house story, James?
I mean, I really don't have one. I mean, honestly, my best one is definitely when we all just fucking went for Halloween during COVID, during Weird Year. I mean, that was a blast.
That was one of the best.
I got to be Batman at a haunted house. And I had a Robin.
And you had your Robin, and we had what was it? Midnight Rose was there. The
Midnight Rose was there.
Midnight Rose was there with us. And Nadia. It was that was a party. That was such a good night. Yeah. I have a thing that I like to do when I'm going through. I like to hang back at sort of the tail end of my little group, right? Whoever I'm with, because I get scared. Yeah. I genuinely jump.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love haunted houses. The reason why I don't go a lot is not necessarily I get scared. I'm just a flinchy person. You know, like, I'll jump when an explosion is too loud in, like, a Marvel movie.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So what I like to do is I like to hang back at the back of my group. I let the actors come out, freak people out, do their thing. And then low key, if you're at the back, you can kind of play into it a little bit. So there was a guy, and this has become my move. He was coming up behind me, and I saw him with the chainsaw after everybody else had gone by. He scared him first, and he was trying to get us from behind. So what I did was I faded back a little bit further and let him get in my spot. So then my group couldn't see me. And he just with the chainsaw again, fucking scares the shit out of everybody that you're with. Out of everybody that you're with. It's brilliant. And then you get to play into it.
Yeah,
and then I just
great.
sit there and laugh. Like, it's amazing.
I remember the one we went to had, like, a Texas Chainsaw maze, and had, like, a few leather faces that would just keep popping up as you walk through it.
I went to one time, and the guys waited. They wait, and like they were hit out, and I don't know what they had on their deal, but on the ends of their chainsaws. But when they would hit, it would spark on the ground. Like,
oh yeah, that's
it
sick.
was insane. So it was me, Calvert, and a couple of girls at the time. This is way back in the day, and they pop out with these fucking chainsaws, man. And I swear to God, I took off. I left everybody behind me. I ran. And then the next thing I know, they're all pointing, laughing at me, and I'm like 50 yards ahead of them going, I don't know why you're still standing there. If this was a legitimate, real horror movie scenario, I would be final girl. I would be the one living. You know what I mean? Like, I would be fine. It's them that would be dead. It's okay.
The other ones I go check out when there's like a loud noise somewhere.
Yeah, no, dude. When you say check out, bro, you mean like out of the motel, into the car.
Yeah.
Like I'm 50 miles down the road. That's how checked out I am. That's what I check out. That's literally what I do. I don't putz around. I've seen too many of that.
Now, do you think it's like too early in the season? I mean, I guess you got work out of it, so it's great. But it's like, you don't think it's too early in the season to start doing haunted houses? I mean, we're barely into
Bro,
September.
not for these. Dude, we'll be halfway through this month. You know that, right? Like this weekend. So what they do is, for the first like 2 or 3 nights of the season, first 2 or 3 weekends before October, it's just like I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I think this is our last Thursday, and then it's just Friday, Saturdays, and then as it picks up into October, they'll add the Thursday, and then they add the Sunday, and then all of a sudden you're doing like Wednesday through Sunday. Yeah, so it's like a slow roll.
No, it's like a slow roll. But I don't know, I do love haunted houses, but it's like I just hate when holiday season's got to come so fast. You know, it's like 1 minute it's like summer, and then suddenly we're doing Halloween shit, and then it's fucking Christmas out of nowhere.
Dude, this year has flown. This year has absolutely flown by. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened this year. Like, I can't believe it's halfway through September. Goddamn.
Right? Like, and it sounds like the most old man thing to say in the world, but it's like every year, the older I get, like the quicker they go.
I mean, yeah, it's for real. It's scary. I don't like it. I don't like getting old.
My dad at 81 says, he goes, yeah. He's like, it's like I blink and the year goes by, and I'm like, I'm really starting to feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Wasn't yesterday like January, right? Oh.
I mean, like literally, what I think it was yesterday or a couple days ago. So I got my 5-year like reminder of the last day of Shitstorm when it was like me, Fernando, Leo, Fletcher, John, and John Brennan. And I was damn, 5 years
Can
ago.
you imagine?
Like, what the fuck? That's longer than like a school term.
You could have gone to college and graduated in that time.
Yeah.
So and thinking about that, bro, it's been 5 years and it just hit Amazon Prime. Did you see that?
Yeah, for now, not anymore.
What?
It's not on Amazon Prime anymore.
It was up for 2 minutes and then it's already off.
Yeah, I mean, not anymore. I mean, I'm not the one to tell tales out of school, but I've heard it was a mistake, and they had to take it down.
Wow.
They just don't want this movie to come out, Ben. That's just what it is.
Wow. I should have bought it when I could have.
Well, you would have rented it, so who would have known if you would have even kept the rental?
Oh no,
right?
no, no! I would have just bought it. I would have paid the $5.
Well, what happens when you buy it though, and they take it down? Would you?
I have no idea.
Would you
Like that's a great question. Well, and that lends itself to something we talk about here. Dixie says she tried to watch it and it wouldn't let you. It wouldn't let you.
Because they just don't want you to watch that movie. I think I've just decided that they just don't want anybody to see it.
It's your death scene that does it. That's what it is. It's your death scene that fucking makes it shit the bed. But yeah, dude, I don't even know what to say. I have no idea what to make of that because literally I was gonna buy it and then I fucking slept on it for a night. But no, that's what it was. So we've talked about that like a little bit here about physical media versus just digital stuff versus whatever. And it's like do you ever really own anything that you buy digitally? What happens when the streamer loses their contract? Do you lose your archive? So Dixie was excited for us. I'm just going to read the chat. That's going to be my job tonight, is reading the chat.
Yeah, well, it sucks we can't get any, physical media either for the movie we worked on 5 years ago.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. So goes the typical trauma timeline, right? Like, it is what it is. But
Amy says in the chat, she didn't like Barbie, but Barbie was pretty awesome.
What? I still have yet to see it. I still have yet to see it.
I mean, it should be on digital soon, but I think they're also doing like an IMAX releasing because Oppenheimer movies couldn't be released in IMAX because Nolan literally in his contract was you have to give me every single IMAX screening that's available. So no other movie was in IMAX. So now they're like just putting out Barbie into IMAX.
My God. Well, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was because of that Cillian Murphy's penis or whatever was because they had to put it in IMAX. You know what I mean? That's what I heard.
It was so big it needs to be filmed on IMAX to fit the screen.
I want to see like vintage like 70s porn on IMAX. I'm just saying. That would think about how rare that would be, right? Like a screening of what is it, like Beyond the Green Door on IMAX.
Look, Amy says Tuesday. It's available online. Well, there you go. Also, do you know what else is available? I just found out this week. The new Ninja Turtles movie is also on digital. I just watched it again.
Oh,
recently.
already? Holy shit!
Yeah, right. That's fast. Like it just came out August. Like I saw it literally the day before I left for Flapjacks, and it's out now. So that's literally a month in theaters. Like that's it. That's kind of crazy,
dude. I don't know how I feel about all that. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like I really don't know how I feel about all that at all, because there used to be the notion of like you would wait 9 months or whatever for something to come out on home video after it stayed like a couple of 3 months in the theater, and then it's almost a full year turn, 6 months to 9 months before it would come out on home video.
Yeah, I remember almost a full year. Like that's how I always perceived movies. Yeah. And then it'd be like 3 years, and then we'd go to cable.
Yup. Because there was like proper structure to like how you would make your money. And then now it's a fucking
Now it's just like, just throw it on streaming. Who cares? We'll be on streaming in a week.
What is it? Disney has I think the Marvel stuff has like a 90-day turn, something like that. Yeah.
And I was reading something recently. I mean, I don't know how true it is because I haven't done much research on it. But Disney is going to be stopping physical media distribution pretty much because there's like the streaming is still where most people are watching it, and people still aren't buying DVDs.
Wow. One of these days DVDs are going to be they're going to be very, very rare. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we did, when I was on the Cook Island tour, the Freaky Secrets tour, which is coming back to Rhode Island this month.
Nice.
When we were there in North Carolina at this video store, my whole family came out and stuff, right? And then the next day, I go back, hang out with my family, and we're talking to me. He's like, man, I didn't know there's these video stores. My uncle was like, oh, I didn't know there's these video stores that still exist and you can do all this. I was like, yeah, isn't that great? Don't you like miss all of it? And Simply was just like, no.
but I mean it
was like, I don't miss that at all.
I do, and it's a very rare occasion when you get to really enjoy it. It's almost like a unicorn in the wild, right?
What? Oh, like some sort of eternal unicorn.
Yeah, constantly fighting like some kind of warrior out in the wild.
Yeah, that's right, folks. We are talking about Genndy Tartakovsky's Unicorn Warrior Eternal. Sometimes I like to say warriors, but it's warrior, plural.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't even know. Like Genndy's an absolute gem. Absolute gem.
Yeah, and we can get into our feelings a little bit later, but regardless of how I even feel about this show, I love that Genndy feels like this dude who is just still pushing 2D animation. He feels like the only one who's spearheading keeping this alive, because even this show is made to be a 2D cartoon. The way the characters look, the way everything kind of moves, and he constantly is reminding you how this is just a cartoon. All throughout it.
So there's a lot of stuff in there that it's so much like old school cartoony that I really, really appreciated, particularly throughout this series, as opposed to even some of the other ones, right? And we'll get into how we feel about it, but like Primal I love.
Primal's when people ask me, because they're like, oh, you do a cartoon podcast, I'm like, yeah. Immediately people like to ask me, well, what do you recommend for cartoons? And I don't know, we're 135 episodes deep. It's hard for me to come up with something on the fly so fast. But Primal's always my answer, because it's just such a great, almost a perfect show.
It really is. It really, really is.
Gives the heart of the animation too, which I love. Oh, I love Primal.
So the thing with this one though is this I feel has way more, a lot more of those general what do you call it, like super kind of cartoony moments, right? I want to say it's in it's in either I think it's the third or the fourth episode. It's where they're being hauled off by the cops, right? And the cops are leading them out of the building. There's one who he's got this big stupid handlebar mustache, and his tongue is just sticking out of his mouth the whole time.
Yeah, and he's rounded, his whole body is round.
And
it's almost like Looney Tunes level.
That's what I'm saying. He's paying homage where he needs to pay homage. It feels good. That kind of shit to me feels good, and I don't think you see enough of it anymore.
I don't think you get any of it anymore. I mean, really. I mean, I guess they did try to bring back Looney Tunes, but I mean, you watch this show and it's this is the guy being no, we can still tell awesome, kick-ass stories in this medium. We don't have to do all this crazy nonsense. It's just Keep it to the art, you know.
So
Never mind what cartoons are.
So, and speaking of what cartoons are, I've low key been following a couple of accounts recently, and I have found some.
On our Twitter, right?
Yeah, at Fantasy Shed on Twitter. I found a repository that I like to use for sort of like a daily history, daily cartoon history sort of thing. And there was an amazing clip from an old Bugs Bunny cartoon that I saw the other day, and it has nothing to do with this, but it just struck me as very funny. A very large, I would call her thick, rabbit woman, wants a kiss from Bugs. Beside him is a fishbowl, and he reaches in and he grabs a goldfish and he makes a goldfish kiss her, and she's like, "Ooh, wow!" And then the goldfish, once Bugs plops him back in, pulls out a revolver and then goes into the castle that's in the fishbowl, and you hear the bang, and you just see bubbles come up out of the castle. And I'm like, this is what it was to be a kid in the 50s. Like this is what it was like. It's no wonder they were the way they were.
Well, and like it makes me think of this show, right? When you had that, I think it's episode 3, when those like Iron Soldiers, like those undead like statue soldiers come to life, and they're all naked, and then he's got to like quickly chop off all their dicks real quick so they weren't flopping around.
like little touches like that. I thought that was hysterical. Like I thought that was absolutely hysterical, and a like a wonderful touch, right? Like a wonderful touch. I really dig the artwork throughout this one.
For reals. I mean, the 1890s London looked awesome, which is definitely not what 1890s London looks like, but the style of it is just amazing. I mean, I'm a steampunk kind of fan. Like I like when things get steampunky, so I love that they really kind of leaned into this.
So and the same goes, right? Like I love the notion of automatons that like clunky yet highly technical like robot stuff.
Like they had like the subway that was like an above ground subway that kind of hangs.
Yep.
So it was like a track that was kind of like hanging, almost like a roller coaster, and just bring people around the city, like high up.
And I dig that because it feels very fucking like it's almost it's almost the same feeling you would get from like the old school World's Fairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like what the future could have been. I like a highly technological past that looks clunky. Yeah. So steampunk resonates with me in a lot of different ways. Because
they all got like the cars around. Because it was built like a like a normal city with cars and shit. But then they all have like they got these big engines and big smoke that would just pop out of all the cars and shit, and everybody be kind of like jumping.
Well, and that's the thing when. And we'll get into these characters. We have to, because once we figure out who Copernicus is, what he's doing, all of that stuff. When he turns into that motorcycle, I was like, "That's a great." And she's just standing up behind him, just zipping along. I love that.
Yeah, Copernicus is so cool.
Well, so, and I'll let you kind of lead us into it, but I will say this about that character in general. Once again, Jindy has created a character that does not need to speak and emotes volumes more than the characters that can talk.
Yeah, and to speak about talk about the steampunk style. I mean, he's able to like move his head up and down and like make like the train noises and just let out steam in a certain way that lets you know what he's trying to tell you.
Exactly. And the notion of transforming, the notion of changing or becoming whatever. One of my absolute favorite shots is in the first episode, and it's where like Copernicus is like he's sort of down low, and then his legs just extend until his head is up over the clouds, and then he turns to see the city, and then he just starts following it that way. I thought that was so rad, dude. I thought that was so rad.
Is that after they dig him up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we start off. Well, I guess the backstory with these guys, right? That these unicorn warrior Eternals have been around for forever,
right?
Right, and then it's like they just keep like kind of taking over a different body. Their souls keep moving around through centuries, and now we're finally. I mean, my favorite was the Western one, and I was like watching this. Like they had the Native American guy who becomes Sing, and like this gorgeous long black hair, and then gets possessed, and then he's just bald. I was like, that was me. Like, maybe I have celestial powers, but I'd be like, fuck, you just made me bald, man.
And like Sing overall, that character, with their powers. So you have what is it? What's the elf guy's name? I can never remember. Yes.
Edrin, I think it is. Edred.
Yeah. So you've got him. You've got and he's got a sword that can help him travel. Magic sword that can help him travel through time, space. He just has to rhyme to it. And then he sings it a rap song, and then he and then he fucks right off to where he needs to go.
6 a.m, police at my door.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
And his sword is just like he's just doing Wu-Tang Clan and it's just like flying around,
or it's 3-6 Mafia and he's just going ass and titties, ass and
titties. That's when they hit modern era, that's when they like get to our world.
Right, that's all they need, that's all they want.
When a member of 3-6 Mafia is on stage and just a beam turns him into like this elf warrior.
It's a Lord Infamous on stage. So good.
Yeah, we got Edred, the rapping elf,
with his magic sword.
Yeah, we got Sting, the guy who can go to the universes, and then we got Melinda. Right, that's our star.
I mean, dude, you want to talk about like a dark witch that is unreal. Unreal. Like angry goth girl to the max, to the max. Sure. And I don't know. Like super conflicted, way OP. Yeah. And basically,
I mean, and they know she's OP because at one point Endred says, "You're literally the most powerful person here. You're like you have to do it. Like we can't do this.
You're the only one that can. You're the only one that can. None of us can. But the show,
and they're led by Merlin, right? He's like their pseudo daddy or Melinda's real daddy.
Exactly. That's literally what I was about to say. The leader of the pack is Merlin, which again here. So it marries and blends this weird sort of fantasy with the steampunk thing. So basically, what you have is like you have a D&D group, right? You have your pack. Led by King of all wizards, who disappears and pops up as he needs to. You have your
kind of like the dungeon master.
Very, very much like the dungeon master. If we're to equate this to Dungeons and Dragons, even the cartoon series, he is dungeon master. Shows up when he needs to, leaves, does some magic,
And he kidnaps a bunch of children and tells them they have to be heroes.
Wait a minute. So Jendi just ripped off, what is it, 1980s?
I mean, I literally just thought about that right now. So yeah.
Totally just ripped off 1980. Was it 87? 87s?
I don't know. Your recommended
Yeah,
show.
I forget. I forget. It's in the 80s. I was a child. Whatever.
But I will say, I mean, like, what I do like about this crew is they do feel different. You know, I mean, because there's also that other show that we watched that I can't remember the name of, Vox Machina.
Yeah.
And I like that they don't like they're kind of like D&D characters. They don't necessarily kind of really fall into that realm. Besides the elf guy,
Right. They don't. They really don't. But again, it's the notion of your party. You know what I mean? It's the notion of this ragtag,
their fellowship.
the fellowship, a ragtag group of vagabonds and ne'er-do-wells who have to come together to somehow save the world and ultimately themselves.
The Suicide Squad.
Yes, Suicide Squad is nothing but a modern day D&D campaign. It really is. You know what I mean? Like it really is. They all wake up in a cell. You know, they've got instructions from just a voice over a radio or an intercom. Yeah, it's just D&D, bro.
That is, you know what? I never thought of. I said that as a joke, but you're not wrong.
It's just D&D. It's like imagine like your dungeon master is Amanda Waller, right? You wake up in a cell.
Ooh.
You wake up in a cell. A voice comes over the intercom. If you want to live, and get 20 years knocked off your sentence, here's your mission for today. And then that's your D&D camp.
Yeah, wow.
Done.
There you go. Never thought of that way.
So that's what we do here. We fix the problem.
Yeah, Wandering Robot says everything is D&D. So I guess you're not wrong. Everything is
very,
D&D.
very true. It's the truest thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
But right this time though, normally these warriors take over, no problems, right? They just take over the people. They save the world. Fing fang foom. Everybody goes back to normal. But this time, for some reason, poor little Emma gets kidnapped on her wedding, and she's fighting it. She's like, "I'm not this person."
Exactly.
Which is like a first.
So.
Which also fucked up because when I first watched this show, I forgot when it came out, but I watched it relatively around the same time it dropped, and I watched the first 2 episodes of the double pilot they did, and I was like, "Yeah, this is kind of fucked up." Like, I don't know how I would feel if I'm just chilling, and they're just thrusting this responsibility on you.
And that's the thing. You get zapped by a giant robot who's just broken into your wedding. And so quick, let's rewind 2 seconds to talk about Emma's dad. That's the other thing. That whole setup with her dad and that tear coming out of his eye, down his cheek. Again, that felt very Looney Tunes. It felt very like early Disney, like the character creation, the design of it, the art, all of that. It just had an amazing look to it, you know? It
has this like Prince Eric kind of vibes all around it, you know, like this.
110%. 110%. But yeah, to that end, man, if your life is getting fucked up by some massive force that you are unaware of, you've never seen in your life, and now you're being stolen away from your family, your friends, your beloved, to do what? Who knows? Yeah, you would fight it. You have no idea the intention of that thing. You have no idea what it's trying to get you into. You're scared. You're completely and totally in the dark.
And it's telling you have this other world responsibility now. I mean, you're like, I literally was just getting married. You know, I'm about to have a comfortable life somewhere.
I'm about to be like, in for all intents and purposes, living a noble lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, they're not royalty, but those families definitely look like they got the money.
They're definitely aristocrats. Yeah. like lords and lady type shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would fight it too, man. I'm not even gonna lie. At first, what is the kid's name that it's Sing? Yeah, right. Or the kid that becomes him.
Yeah.
It's fucking what is his name?
Oh, I don't know the kid's name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. The kid who becomes Sing.
He's the only one that instantly I think I would be on board with if I got zapped randomly, and then
Well, his life also sucked. So.
well, okay, yeah. I mean, he was youth gone wild, like on the streets, right? If I were him though, that would be the power I would want to be, because basically he's just constantly on a head full, you know? Like he can
like literally
he just constantly tripping to a point to where he's seeing whales in space, just drifting along the ethereal plane, you know, as he spins around and
jumping on asteroids.
That's the one I want. That's of all these powers.
Now, here's a question too, right? So, is he not the same kid that she saw in her flashback that like beat up her boyfriend in a soccer game? Like they're like the same crew, right? But then he's a kid though, and time has passed.
Yeah, like, and so that's where it gets. Some of that stuff gets a little muddy to me. You know what I mean? Some of that stuff gets a little muddy to me. I think that's the intention. I think that's the intention. Is that it is, but it's also that we all lead. I guess you could interpret it as we all lead these separate lives beforehand, but we can all still sort of come together. The past doesn't matter so much anymore in the present, you know. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just saying he should definitely be older. You know, they're like, I assume that like Emma and her husband are probably like just graduated college, right? I mean, they're this 1800, so they got to be like 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think college, dude. I would literally probably think even high school, man.
Yeah, maybe. But still, that dude is a fucking kid, like an actual like 10-year-old,
like a very real child.
Yeah.
yeah. I do agree. I do agree. Like that age is off, and then maybe it's just a kid that looks like him too, but
like him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just they played that backstory like right before that, and I was like, because the crew is also similar, but maybe that's the point. I guess I don't know what Gen G's trying to say, that they're kind of the same people.
Yeah, like that again. Some of this story gets muddy to me, and I think part of that, it's not so much because I just think it's like definitions, and I think the second you start to play with the notion of time, and you start to play inside of, you know, time and space being as fluid as we know it to be, that waters get murky, get very, very murky.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Flash movie?
Yeah.
So there's like the bit with like with the spaghetti. Now when I think of time, I just think of Batman telling us like it's all just a bunch of spaghetti in a bowl.
And I'll go out on a limb, slight tangent. That movie I only heard really positive or really negative things about, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think there's like a third act issue where it's like, what's the point of all that middle stuff with Michael Keaton and Supergirl? Because it kind of like doesn't matter anymore at a certain point in the movie. That's kind of where like, and also the CG is awful. But other than that, I think it's pretty great. I mean, Michael Keaton is fucking, he still crushes it, man. 70-something years old, almost 80.
And see, that's the thing. Michael Keaton's almost 80?
Well, he's like 72, I think, actually. I lied. But He's old as fuck. He's in his 70s.
Hang on. This I have to check just because like that makes me feel extra old.
No, he was in his 70s.
72. Okay, that's not okay. Okay. It is in your 70s. Yes. But when I look at old people, I don't think Michael Keaton.
Neither do I, and he's old. But yeah, he's even that movie. He's amazing.
He's awesome. I don't know the way everything sort of bounced around. And while Ezra Miller is problematic as fuck, I thought he did. They did.
No, he's actually
whatever.
He's actually not that bad at all in that movie. Like he has dramatic performances. He's kind of funny. It's just for me. It's just that I just think the story kind of falls apart towards the end, and the CGI is pretty bad a lot of the times. But you also got Nicolas Cage Superman spoilers, which is I have the DVD of the making of that movie that fell apart, so it's cool to like see it now in a way, which I think is really not. Which is really cool.
What is it? That one producer finally got his giant spider.
Yeah, like literally.
That's my favorite Kevin Smith story, I think, of all time. Of all time.
Yeah, and he said he watched Wild Wild West, and he goes, "There's the spider.
There's a fucking giant spider right there. Holy shit! This guy loves giant fucking spiders."
And you know, and I do love the Clooney ending too, which is pretty awesome.
See,
like to me, it's a big fuck you. That's why I kind of love it. Of just like the Flash completely fucks everything up. Now we got George Clooney as Batman.
He fucks everything up. He tosses himself around space and time, and it's really kind of great, dude. It is good.
But the sad part about it was, you know, Michael Keaton was supposed to be in that ending, and so was Supergirl and stuff. And then when Batgirl got canceled, you know, that all that got reshot. Like that George Clooney thing was kind of a recent bit.
Wow, no, see, I didn't know that. Which again, you know, this is Unicorn Warrior Eternals.
Yes, Eternal.
Warrior Eternal. There's not an S in it.
No, there's not. I've checked on it a couple times to make sure I was right today.
Well, then why did we put it wrong on our?
Oh, actually, you're right. I'm double checking myself again. It is with an S. I've been wrong this whole episode. See, this is why we need Leo back. To fact check us.
It's Warriors Eternal, and it is correct on YouTube. That's beautiful. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I literally, because I copied it, I have it right in front of me, and I was like, I literally read it as Warrior.
That's the fucking funniest thing I've ever heard. Again, this is a statement on the professionalism of this podcast. And what we do each week to bring to you, our dear listeners.
At least I haven't got any guest names wrong in a long time, so you know.
I haven't fallen asleep in like a year and a half.
Yeah, so we're getting
good.
better.
We're very good at what we do. But no.
Yeah, but Unicorn Warriors, man, what a crew!
And so, like from there, it's again sort of like, and I get lost with the big mission. Is the other thing like that's a part I think I missed in like episode 2 or 3. I know that they were fighting the elephant that was rampaging. There was some business with the elephant that I liked.
Oh yeah, there's like undead elephant that came rampaging.
That was so fucking good, dude. That was good. The stone
felt like straight out of Primal. Like that elephant looked like something straight out of Primal.
And there's is it episode 6 or 7?
Wandering Robot says greatest podcast in the world. Thank you. Wandering.
Thank you. Mazel. So the thing with episode 6 or 7 was when Singh is trying to find the cure for Copernicus, right? The way to bring back his spark, because ultimately he loses his spark, right?
Yeah, and they say it because he gets destroyed, and then one dude builds him. He's like, "Well, I can build him That's not he's made by human parts, but I can't.
I can't bring his power back. Yeah. But somehow Singh was able to. That's the other thing. Singh sort of possesses Copernicus at one point, and I thought that was pretty fucking great, because low key, Singh starts reacting through the robot. You know what I mean? And he makes Copernicus do the head turn and the steam and whatever. But it's him inside the suit. And I dug that. I really dug that. But as he's traveling dimensions, he keeps getting dumped off in that one that's all just like woods. He's like, why am I back here again?
Like you're
What's going on?
He's trying to go through time. He just keeps landing. And there's the T-Rex that's in that sequence.
And that's
dang.
what I was getting to, is like it feels very much like a subtle nod to Primal in that, right? Like that's got to be what that is.
I mean, that show won Emmys, I'm pretty sure. Like, so, or won whatever the TV gets. That's the Emmys,
yes,
right?
Yeah, that's Emmys. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm that guy, I mean, I'd reference that all the time. Here's my award-winning show. Remember this?
Remember when I got that Emmy? Remember?
Yeah.
You guys remember? I will say I don't think this one is earning any sort of major awards.
Yeah, unfortunately, because the art is there, man. The animation fucking
sick
crushes it, man. Like when she the scene when she's in the hospital. And she's pretending to be Emma, or she's trying to be Emma still, and she's visiting Winston.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I don't want to let go of you. I'm not gonna let you go." And then the cops figure out she's wearing a wig, and that big moment where she literally jumps in the air, you see her hand turn to black and pull away from Winston, and it's just slow motion. You see glass shatter, the tables are spinning in the air. That shit's fucking beautiful,
dude. There's so much with Melinda as a character and just the way that she's designed. And it's a thing that you see in a lot of animation, but it's always one of my favorites. It's when the character sort of blast off, but then it's these chunks of them sort of stay and are wafting away, Like every time she blasts into the air, it's like the rest of her essence is trying to catch up to her and then just peters out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fucking Jendy, man. He's taking that time and patience to draw all that shit out. Literally.
but I love that. It's and it adds so much to character at that point. I really, really do. I just I don't know. I think it's sort of a wonderful touch for witches. It's an old Disney thing too. I want to say what's her name? Maleficent, right? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, don't ask me. I've been getting all these names wrong. So
well, she does the same thing. The character does the same thing as like those robes and the magic sort of flies. It feels like a very magical touch. It feels like a very, very magical touch, and I like it when. And it's earlier on. I think it's in the same one with the Stone Warriors where she doesn't want to fight, but then finally she just becomes like a rage beast, and then just everything gets fucked up.
Yeah, she turns all black, right? And her eyes turn purple or something, and just fucking rages out.
I'm getting chill.
But even like little things, man, too. Like we talked about the police chief with the big mustache. There's this scene where after he arrests all the magic people in the city, and he's interviewing them or whatever, and then you go to his office and he's talking to the fake Belinda and Singh, and they literally had these fans going in this dude's office, and his whole dialogue thing is his mustache, on the side of his face, with going with the wind or whatever, just brushing in the air the entire time. It's amazing.
It's subtle touches in all of this fun sort of space. It's I think it helps sell a story more than anything else. You know what I mean? I really do. I feel like it's just an artist touch. It's what steps this up from just a typical cartoon and sort of elevates it into the space of like true art form, you know?
Yeah. And it says a lot, right? I mean, from that one shot, you can be like, okay, I know this office is hot. He's definitely annoyed, and makes it more annoying that he's got to sit in this hot office and listen to these fake magicians try to talk about magic.
Just the level of irritation that's going through this man at this point in time is amazing. Is amazing. I'm gonna give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna send you what I'm looking at right now because I'm sorry to break into the pod this way. Normally I would never do this, but I want you to understand how calm I am being and why I am not fucking screaming right now.
Oh man.
Well, you just
destroying
heard that. Look at your phone, James, when you get the opportunity. I sent you via text. Yeah, you'll see it in a second. That's what I was looking at.
Well,
I apologize for getting distracted.
Bad puppies.
Very bad puppies.
Gotta turn him into unicorn
Fucking,
warriors.
that's what I need. That's what I feel like I need to do. Where is my giant robot?
It's over that Leroy. You know, he's the older one. He should know better not to jump on counters. I've never seen him even do that.
I know. It's only when I'm trying to do things that he blows my mind every single time. So for anybody still listening, anybody still watching, Leroy has decided to climb on the counters, and I was trying to keep a very cool face. But anyway, anyway, as we get back into our story here, James, it's again, it's one of these like massive narratives, but again, I feel like you could still sort of pop into this and not know a lot and still enjoy like a couple of episodes. But
the narrative isn't that hard to follow, but it's definitely worth watching all the way through to figure out.
For sure. But one of the ones that also sticks out to me is when they go back to the elf land. You know what I mean?
When she gets like kicked out of the space world and she has to go to the elf land.
When they go to the elf land and then he's like, they're not gonna like you. And that's the other, okay, so that's the thing we haven't even touched on yet. Edrigan. See, I want to call him Etrigan. Edred.
I mean, I keep saying it wrong. But...
Anyway, fucking Elfie. Elfie and Melinda have an ages long, like a millennia long sort of love affair. And he's pissed off because Winston keeps popping back up, who is Emma's beloved. And let's remember, Emma and Melinda are the same person, right? Emma has been infused with the soul of Melinda.
So, like, that's what always confuses me, too. So it's like, they are these people, but yet the people that are taking over definitely have, like, a whole other life. Right? I mean, they're just stealing someone's life.
And, his name was Alfie. Wasn't Singh's name Alfie?
Alfie. I keep saying something else. I don't know names. We decided to determine this.
So that's the other thing, too. Alfie doesn't not seem to give two shits about who he was before. You know what I mean? Nobody else is having this internal, like this real internal conflict that Melinda and Emma seem to be having, you know? And throughout the series, we see Emma in the reflection of Melinda. So, and they're carrying on these full conversations, right?
So there's definitely a second person in there.
Right. There's still that strength of will, strength of character, strength of everything. It's weird, and I don't know what it's really trying to say.
I don't know either. I mean, that's what confuses me. Because why isn't Edred or Singh thinking about their past lives?
Exactly, right? Edred's only thinking about, well, and he's only thinking about the life he's ever lived on this
Yeah.
ethereal plane with this Melinda, and that,
But like, what makes Emma so fucking
and,
special? You know, why she
and that's also what I don't understand. Also, right? Like that's the other thing. So, all right, and you tell me where I go off the rails because I paid pretty good attention. I feel like I paid pretty good
Oh.
attention, but he has lived his life in the same linear path to where Melinda is the reason that he left his kingdom. Okay? That's
Yeah, that's I remember.
okay.
Yeah.
But then now he's introduced to Melinda in this new form of Emma and he still loves her. How does he know that entire past that he had if he has not always been him and always in that body, right?
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah. I mean,
does that make sense?
because he would have a whole other. Because he wouldn't that other guy have a whole other past? You would
Yeah,
think of?
you would think so.
Or-
You would think so.
The other guy was a magician. He was probably traveling the world
Yeah,
doing stage.
you would think so. And like, even though he knows where he comes from, you're not my, because he meets up with his brother.
Yeah.
You're not my brother. I am your brother. Here's my sword. Well, second off, if we're just zapping people with fucking souls, where'd he get the sword if he wasn't always the person that he was?
Also, I mean, I guess you can say elves are eternal, but like, also, how is his brother still around? I mean, they've been warriors for literally centuries.
It's well, elves do live a long life, a long, long life. That is true, but that's the thing, bro. I get that's where I get a little lost in a bunch of like the narrative stuff there is because those lines
Yeah.
didn't make a mountain of sense to me. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess Genji's really trying to, because what I find interesting about this show, because unlike Primal, I mean, Primal feels like a big
Right.
world, but this is like world building. You know what I mean? Like, this is like deep lore and deep world building with characters, and it's so like, Primal is just straightforward, right? I mean, it's like literally a caveman dinosaur surviving.
So I would put it this way: as big as the world is in Primal is just the planet, right? As much as possible. While it touches on some much larger elements, it still is mostly the planet and a little bit of magic. Now, this, however, is universe building, galaxy building.
Yeah, like literally, this is the whole thing. Like, this is the shit, you try to make a bunch of seasons and spin-offs and comic books off of.
This is like almost Star Wars level, but or it wants to get to that level. It's Whovian in its scope.
And I want to like that too.
Yeah.
Because I love that it's just Gendy style in this big scope Star Wars-esque kind of thing. Like, I want to see that. And I like that idea. I said, it just kind of loses me towards
the end.
The end. Or just not loses me towards the end, just more it loses me, I guess, just in the narrative kind of throughout. Like, I just get kind of lost a little bit, then I come back around. And I don't know, I just kind of go with it rather than totally
try to analyze it. Yeah.
Yeah, analyze it.
And that's ultimately what I had to do to enjoy it too, is like I had to stop asking myself questions and just look at it. And that became, I guess, sort of both the bane of it and the beauty of it, because I honestly, near the end, was just lost.
And like I said earlier, I tried to watch it before, and the second like he was just like stealing Emma and then like stealing people, just taking over people's bodies. I was just like, well, that's kind of mean. And then I just stopped watching it. Like, I was like, this is cool. I'll get back to it. But I just felt like I didn't know how to root for these characters because I didn't feel like they were coming from a good place, I guess.
Well,
or they just hijacked people's lives.
Hijack their lives, but for the greater good, bro. You know what I mean? That's still, they keep saying it's for the greater good, But
But maybe that's the question Jendi wants us to ask ourselves, right?
Yep.
I guess.
what is
What would we do for the greater
or
good?
what is the greater
The
good?
greater good.
Because
The greater
I
good.
still couldn't figure out what they were really fighting for other than each other and their pasts. Like, what is the big overarching thing?
Yeah, like the villain. I guess it's her mom. I guess that's the twist,
Yeah.
right? But the villain always confused me of exactly what it is, what it wants. Because the way they describe it, it just wants to just destroy, and that's it.
And then you see a little bit of the magic in it. You see, like, what is it? London kind of get destroyed early on. But then it becomes kind of this think piecey sort of thing around episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then it picks back up again like a little later. Because, oh my God. Okay. And this got confusing too. So once Copernicus comes back, like, doesn't he have to re-imbibe everybody with their abilities, right?
I mean, they were still there.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't go anywhere. They still had their powers,
Right,
except for
right.
Emma.
Right. But I thought he had to zap everybody again. Or am I wrong? I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember him zapping them. I remember zapping Emma again because she lost her powers because she got kicked out of the realm, and then she wanted it back. She had to go back and get it, and that's what the elves and shit.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when you meet the fake Melinda and sing again. They're like, "Yeah, I thought we'd be chosen." That's like something like that reminds me of just like some Heaven's Gate shit, you know, like these people who think they're going to be like these chosen people, and then just don't get chosen. You know, devote your life to this thing that's just like, no, you're not special.
You're not special. And then I thought sort of the ending note where it's like her mom is the big bad, and the way to defeat the big bad was we all become one. We all come together. I honestly thought that was kind of a cop out.
Yeah, I kind of felt I was like, oh, they're just gonna form together like the Power Rangers. Like,
with your powers combined, I'm Captain Planet.
Yeah, they literally are Captain Planet it. Yeah. They made their own Captain Planet to defeat the bad guy.
I did. I thought that was I thought that was a little cheap. Yeah. And I thought her speech was a little cheeseball there. But then again too, the show's so good to look at.
Yeah, I mean, like, regardless how cheap it was as like a story. I mean, it looked pretty sick.
Great.
Which becomes like this fucking monster kind of magic being.
And like the inclusion of Merlin is, I think it's an interesting touch. It's a pretty great touch, because if you think about like master wizards over the course of time, and if anybody,
I mean, Merlin's like the wizard. Are there any other wizards? I feel like I've only ever heard of Merlin as like the guy.
Well, Gandalf, right?
I guess there's Gandalf. Yeah, I guess that's true. There's Gandalf. But Merlin seems like the one, I guess maybe because he's just free IP. That people would...
Anybody can use a Merlin. Yeah, exactly. And everybody knows what a Merlin is, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's like when you play Bigfoot in the movie, right? It's like you don't have to introduce that character. People just know what a Bigfoot
Everybody
is.
gets it. Everybody gets it. It's like when you use a skunk ape. Everybody knows what skunk ape is. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I've been thinking about skunk ape my whole life.
You don't have to pay for one. You don't have to worry about it. Everybody knows a skunk ape. It's kind of perfect.
I was kind of waiting for some King Arthur shit to come down, but they didn't really do anything. They mentioned the sword.
And they God, wasn't that at the end? At the end when he's pulling the sword out? Isn't that a new batch pulling this, or did I watch another cartoon also?
Yeah, I did not see any sword pulling out of stones in this one.
Oh,
unless
fuck. I'll tell you what I did.
You watched another Merlin movie?
No, bro. I got up in my feels because I noticed that, and this is a total aside, but the new Adventure Time spinoff is out.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And I saw that on Max, and then I went back and I was like, I remember Adventure Time's ending being like a heartstring tugger. And I went back and I watched it, and they play the entire song, not just the little bit, the 30 seconds or whatever. And it's this whole music video that basically wraps up everybody's story. And then the way that, huh?
That's cool.
And then at the end of it, you basically get what equates to like a new Finn and Jake that are starting on their adventure. And he's pulling a sword out, and the Jake helps him.
And that's what the spinoff is?
The spinoff is Lady Finn, Fiona, from the show.
I never watched Adventure Time. So.
Really?
Nah, I mean, I was too old for it when it was out. Like you talk about going to college and like, not watching cartoons at a certain point. That's when that show was kind of coming out. It was like that and like Steven Universe. I think a third show, a regular show. Like those are the three shows that like I aged out of, but that like people who are like 3 years younger than me would like talk about constantly.
Bro, I went back and I had never seen it, but again, I was an old man when I went back and watched it. Adventure Time is rowdy, dude. Like Adventure Time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome. I'm like, I just didn't watch it at the time, but hey, that's why we got the show, right? Eventually, I've been asked a bunch of times to talk about Adventure Time. If Joey K's in the chat, he yells at me all the time.
It's solid, dude. It really is. It's solid.
And fucking Bender is the dog.
Yeah, the same guy, Joe DiMaggio.
And John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio played baseball and Bang, Maryland.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know names sometimes.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, said like this show was like, it was there. It just like missed the mark, I think, by like something. Like maybe the next season will pick up, because I did read there is a next season coming out. They said sometime between 2024 it should come out. So,
good, because I would watch it. I hope that they seal up some stuff that they left kind of open or ambiguous in this.
Yeah, like when maybe you can explain it to me. How did Singh get older? I don't remember. Like, I just remember watching it, and suddenly he was like 15 years older and had a fro.
Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because they go to the realm or whatever to go fight the evil. Because they all get sucked into the fucking, Copernicus sucks them all in or whatever, and they go to like I forgot how they get sucked in, but they get sucked into the space world or whatever, and they see Singh, and then he's like a fucking flying knight with his like tiger friend,
right?
And he's got like a fro now and like sideburns.
But I think that might be his ability to time travel. So time might affect him differently as he seeks out other things, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I wish the show would explain it.
Yeah, I think. Because right now I'm just doing a very quick cursory glance to see if I can find that answer. But no, yeah, he's full blown knight status, and nobody can explain it. Beautiful. That's good. I fucking.
Because he meets like a giant tiger person that like helps him out. If I remember, he was kind of losing his mind or something, or he couldn't connect for some reason to the world, or he couldn't come back or something.
Yeah. Singh still has some memories of his role as a unicorn, though he does not appear to be very aware of them or any of this regarding his time as Alfie. Yeah, I don't know, bro. It's that's heavy. So Singh is also the unicorn. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's confusing. It's confusing.
Yeah, I mean,
Like time passes.
yeah, Jendi, you're the man, but you gotta simplify your stuff a bit.
I think, and this is gonna sound terribly. What's the word I'm looking for? Is it jingoistic? Is that when you're like not into other countries? It's gonna sound very bad. Uh, but
I don't know what that word means, but it sounds
I
bad.
think it's the I think it's the Russian storytelling is what I think it is coming out. Because again, in like Russian literature is known for being these massive, like sprawling sort of epics, right? Like back in the day. So it makes a lot of sense that this would cover a lot of time and be slightly confusing. I'll leave it at that.
But I mean, like I said, I mean, like he also, I don't know if you ever watched Samurai Jack before, and like that's like a big world show, but still, it's pretty simplistic in what it's saying. Of like, okay, the samurai gets teleported to the future to fight this great evil, and he's just got to like survive a new world,
Right.
but then also fight the bad guy.
I've watched a little Samurai Jack. I will be 110% with you. There's so much I need to catch up on. Like really.
Yeah, I mean, it's been years since I've watched it, so I mean, I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember the theme song kicking ass.
That does kick ass. Yes. That.
And Phil Lamar voices Samurai Jack, even though he doesn't have many lines.
Oh man, Phil Lamar did. Who else?
He also sees Hermes. He's the dude in Pulp Fiction who gets shot in the car.
Got it.
He said he's Hermes. He's Mad TV. Phil Lamar's like a legend.
He's all over the place then.
He was also Green Lantern in Justice League.
Oh shit! Really? Okay. Okay.
I think he voices Aquaman too in the most recent animated stuff. Phil Lamar's fucking everywhere. But most famously, he's the guy who gets shot in the car in Pulp Fiction.
Got it. Got it.
And Mad TV, and I used to watch Mad TV.
Yeah. Now I remember him from Mad TV. Yeah. And that, yeah. What kind of storage was that? That there was some kind. That's the furthest I'll go with that here. And in most.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, so the show is cool, dude. Like, it's just like I said, it's just like it's just a fun show, and it's like, yeah, I wish I could understand it, I guess, more. I mean, like, there's a scene with the boat that's pretty awesome, but like then I got confused how like how they were trapped inside that boat. Like I don't know what magical force did that.
And there were pirates, right?
Yeah, they were like Pirates of the Caribbean, like undead pirate stuff.
It's the loose strings of whatever that big fantasy monster is. You know what I mean?
Oh, and there was a werewolf, right? Because the one dude
Winston,
turns, like,
her beloved,
turns
into the werewolf. Yeah, he gets bit late one night, and then it's what was that one? What was that Disney the Marvel thing with
yeah, Wolf by Night or something.
Werewolf by Night. It definitely became Werewolf by Night, but without Man Thing.
Yeah.
Which also I thought was great because one of the dynamics I really did enjoy was the Elf and Winston and their constant bickering over Melinda Emma.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I always get a kick out of this dude on dude rivalry, right?
That's why I was like, when he becomes the werewolf and he starts hanging around more, I was like, God damn it! Like, why is this? Like, I don't know. He that dude annoys me as a character. Like Emma's boyfriend, Wildred or whatever his name is. He's just such a simpy, desperate fucking dude. Like, get over it, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're at your wedding and some like monster beast ruins the love of your life, aren't you gonna go and be like, come on, you can't just puss out on that, you know?
I mean, sure, but then he could have stopped like the third time, and then he got to follow them to like an abandoned boat. he's got to like fucking do all this other shit. It's like, come on,
Dude,
man.
look, I am just.
Or he's like, I'll never let you go. Like, come
Well,
on.
okay, the never let you go is one thing, but like the notion of like I love you. I love you. You loved me. You have been zapped by something and changed entirely. Like, and there is yet a part of her that
Well, see, I think initially too, like I guess I had this idea of some subtext going on, which doesn't make sense towards the later half of the show. But in the beginning of it, when like she's getting taken from her wedding and being a different person, and it's like, oh, this is who I am now, and him not understanding feels like this like archaic, the way that the men were even back the 1800s, right? Where it's just like, oh, this is my woman, like I, basically own her, like we're getting married, like this is, like what do you mean you can't do? We're set up since 15 years ago. We've been set up to get married. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and him being like, "No, I'm not letting you go." Just I thought initially that's how I felt. It was like a subtext of her breaking free for whatever thing that she was basically being forced to do.
It's,
Even though it doesn't make sense later.
it doesn't make sense later on. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I do dig where you're coming from at least in the beginning. But then again too, it also makes little sense in the beginning because Emma is still fighting Melinda. It's not
Yeah,
about
that's
who
true.
I have become. It is about still being taken away from a thing and having to come to grips with this second thing inside of you, right?
Yeah, see, that's what makes me not like it. It's because now, like, how can I root for these heroes when the hero thing is being forced upon this chick who just wants to have just a life, and there's no reason for her to even be involved in any of this. She's just literally living her
And
life.
and I will say this too about the character of Emma more so than Melinda. Emma seems content, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not like her parents are forcing her into this. It's not like Winston is forcing her into this. It feels like this is, and granted, it's the 1890s and it's what you're supposed to do, it's what you're expected to do, but it also feels not so much like she's just going along with it, but she seems to be content with this life.
yeah. That's what. Yeah, and then for her to be dragged away and become a superhero, it's just like, and it's kind of fucked up. It's like it's actually, it seems like the reverse of what I'm saying.
Right.
That it's like being this hero is a thing she's being,
That's the
forced
villain.
into.
That's
It's
the
just,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and like that makes me not like them though. Like, how can I like for these heroes when they're like just forcing this chick to do all
it's the
this?
idea of the anti-hero, right? Like it's coming to grips with the stuff that you have to do versus the things that
And I
you
mean,
want
I
to do.
guess it's different when I look at like I don't know Spider-Man, right? I mean, he never chose to do
Right.
that. He gets bit by a spider. Now he's got to like save the
Right.
world. But there's still like a sense of like how his life changes for the better afterwards, and like why he feels like the need to be, the great responsibility or whatever. With this, I don't feel that. I guess I don't know. It's just like it just feels like it's like it feels like a whip coming down, being like, no, you were fucking doing this whether you like it or not.
It is, yeah. It's there's no choice in it. It is. And even if you got, you could say that Spider-Man has no choice. He's always getting bit by that radioactive spider, no matter what. So he's got no choice. But it is ultimately his decision made in that moment because fate thrust it on him, not a giant metal robot controlled by Merlin. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Merlin's will that's being put on him. It's not, that's what it is. It's somebody else's will being imposed on you as opposed to
yeah.
an accident of nature, like quote unquote an act of God, right? So the spider
Yeah.
bites Peter Parker. Peter Parker gets to make his choice. Um,
Yeah, it'd be different if they were like, I don't know, if they're at the wedding, and let's say the wedding ring he gives her is some fucking crystal of some sort that like opens up a portal or some shit like that, and then gives her powers, and then everything's
Right.
fucked up. Instead of just this like robot monster coming
and
in
zapping you.
and shooting you.
Or if on like, let's say like the ethereal plane during a massive battle, Melinda's soul is knocked out of whatever vessel it is in, thrust into this timeline, that space, and then possesses her. You know what I mean? As opposed to, right? You dig what I'm saying? If it become,
because like there's a part in the show too where they go to the fake medium guy. I forget what his name is, but they talk to the fake medium guy, and then she's talking to Melinda. Like they're able to break apart in spirits, and Emma's literally saying, "Why don't you just pick any other body?
Right.
Just go do it." And then she's just like, "No." It's like, why couldn't she go pick the fake Melinda? Like, I don't get it. There's no reason of why.
There is no reason. It has to be you. It has to be you. You know what I mean? And they don't answer that question. Well, maybe they do because it is Emma's mom and because you are close to it. You know what I mean? So maybe they answer that question. I don't know. I just didn't. That's the kind of shit I didn't really. I guess sort of wrap my head around, or that I couldn't necessarily come to grips with. Because you're right. If she is knocked into her body any other way, then it's like, oh, fuck. Because I also think that creates bigger and better conflict, too. With the constant fighting for who you are. Then it becomes like fucking Two-Face scenario. It's Harvey Dent on one side and Two-Face on the other. It becomes like that level of consciousness, like continuing to fight, right? Like I dig that. Yeah.
But that's not like I said. I don't feel that way. And I don't know, it makes me not want to root for the heroes.
Right. Again, you don't.
You know, like I get they're trying to save the world, but I don't really feel like they're all that great. And maybe that's what Jendi wants. Maybe he doesn't want us to think they're all that great.
Well, and what is it? Comedians talk about like the greatest comedians walk a room. You know what I mean when I say that?
No.
So when a comedian walks a room, basically they are trying to get you to walk out of the room. So if you walk the crowd, that means either you've gotten so offensive or so unfunny that people are just getting up and leaving, right? Because you're walking the room. Now, a good comedian might get to a space that might get people to leave. You might not hear a laugh for 5-10 minutes, but then they try to win you back. That's the other part, right? So they'll take you to a point to where you want to leave and get you completely away from their side. They have become the enemy now. And then the notion is to try and bring you back at some point. So
well, now you say that, I feel like I've had that feeling like watching stand-ups before. Of being like, all right, I'm not on board what he's saying right now. And then it's like 5 more lines later, and you're like, oh,
I see where he's going. I see what's happening. It's craft, man. It's craft. Yeah. So who knows? Midway through season 2, we might be completely fully on board and understand exactly what happened. Why Singh got his sideburns and his afro, and then why it has to be Melinda.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I do like want to love this show because, I mean, it's beautiful and like there's such a craft and clearly tons of work that's gone into it. And yeah, I don't know, they're just missing something.
It is gorgeous to look at. Again, I cannot fucking deny that. It is absolutely gorgeous to look at. I dig the style. I dig the character design. I dig everything.
Did you see the credits too? Because the credits are still the
Yes.
raw, like art,
Yes.
like the raw frames, which is sick. That's the thing. That's what I really feel like this show is about. And I guess we can get into it. We're wrapping up, but it's like really like to me, it's Jendi telling you like this is like hand drawn cartoons, no AI. This is me. I'm drawing this shit by
Yep.
frames, and I'm gonna tell this huge story solely by just
Yeah.
my art, which is what I.
So yeah, dude, totally. You can see it, you can feel it, and I do love when they show like that little peek kind of behind the scenes. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I said for me, it's him just reminding the audience, being like, "No, these are people fucking. Someone's drawing this shit. This is not just."
I am an artist first. I am an artist first. And like really, out of everybody, as far as a genuine, like legit pencil to paper fucking artist, it's Jendi all day. Jendi all day. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just keep it alive. But yeah, all right. Let's wrap this shit up, Ben. What are you giving the show? What are your final
Well, I
thoughts?
mean, ultimately, I'm gonna say it's a success. It gets success. It gets a little murky. It gets a little murky. Beyond that, if you can look through it, if you can find a headspace to try and understand it, or if you just don't care, it is exceptionally beautiful to look at. I think the episodes can be viewed on their own, like separately, right? Like while it's episodic, or while there's an overarching narrative, it still can exist in that bubble world that's sort of episodic. Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Success. And you, James?
Well, I'm gonna give it a
Success.
because yeah, I mean, like just to piggyback everything off you said, like it's just beautiful to look at. The story does get murky, and confusing, but I don't know, the characters are still there enough, and they said the art is still there enough, and I said I just love the craft, and I love someone trying to keep 2D alive.
Yeah.
You know, I love 2D. That's just where cartoons are. You know, I mean, 3D is cool, and I love what we can do with tech these days, and I love shows like Arcane that are kind of pushing the way the animation can look. But to get a raw 2D show is just so rare and fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot they could do. I'm sure there is 3D in this show if you really look back at and like check out some stuff, but like there's really not a lot. Like I look at other 2D shows I watch, let's say like Harley Quinn, right? For instance. I mean, you can tell when they're switching to 3D stuff. You know what I mean? Like and I get why they do. It's cheaper, it's easier with cars and stuff like that, but this show really likes to keep it away as much as they can, and I think they use it in the right ways, and just the style is just fucking amazing. And like I said, I love that. Like I said, he reminds you too in the credits, like, hey, this is a fucking drawn show they were putting all this effort in. So yeah, big success.
Success.
And I would watch season 2, but it just come on, Jendi, just gotta make your story a little more clearer.
Fill some holes, Jendi. Fill some holes. You know.
Or just make Primal season 3.
Oh yeah,
please.
jump on that first. We can wait a little bit more on a season 2 on this. If we get Primal season 3.
And the actors are on strike right now, so you don't need any voice actors for Primal, you know? I mean, you got the one guy, but you can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make it work. Send him a check. He'll show up.
All right, Ben. Now, I know you're usually people always ask me what's next week, but I did, since it's been like our month here together, I wanted to pick something just for you, Ben.
Ooh, what are we watching?
So we watched Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah.
And we've watched Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And I feel like there's one show that like exists in between them. And that is the Swamp Thing animated show that ran for about 6 episodes. I don't know, have you seen it before?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I looked it up to see if it was streaming anywhere, if it was just on YouTube or whatever, but it's currently streaming for free on Pluto TV, which, if anyone doesn't have Pluto TV, awesome fucking app, by the way. It literally has like different channels. Like I wish we were sponsored while I'm doing all this, but they have all these different channels where you can watch like the Kung Fu Network, the Godzilla Network, the Action Movie Network, the Classic Movie Network, the Sitcom Network.
Yes.
But it also everything's on demand, and they got the Swamp Thing animated show, all of 6 episodes.
A grand total. It did not do well.
I've never watched it except for the opening credit scene, which I think is hilarious.
Dude, okay. So it's a thing where they made a shitload of toys for it. There are probably like 4 or 5 different types of Swamp Things, and I think they wanted it to get like a season 2, but then nobody was watching it. And
I said, to me, it feels like a weird middle between Ninja Turtles and Toxic Crusaders, you know? Like they were trying to like reach some sort of audience in between that, you know?
So, and maybe, do you know when it aired? I'm going to look it up right quick.
Off the top of my head.
So, because it might actually predate them.
Both of them, really?
I'm double checking right quick.
Because even
you're right.
The thing looks like Toxie.
Bro, you are absolutely right. It bridges the gap. The cartoon series was 1990.
Yeah.
So if Ninja Turtles was 87 and Crusaders was 92, is that what it was? Then yeah, this literally bridges the gap.
They were trying to get it with Swamp Thing, and then Toxie. They were like, this is the swamp monster we want.
Yeah, what is it that Lloyd always says? It's the only 91. Yeah. Wow. So they ditched Swamp Thing for Toxie.
Yeah.
It's the only movie with a full head crushing and female masturbation to ever be turned into a kid's cartoon series.
But even Swamp Thing turning into a kid's cartoon is pretty wild. I mean, we get to it more, next week. But I mean, Swamp Thing gets pretty dark to then just become whatever this cartoon is.
Yeah, that Alan Moore run is unreal, and this would have been coming off of that, and then this would have gone with, let's see, the Swamp Thing television series. The original TV series was
There's a live action.
Yep,
right?
Was 91.
I've never seen it. I know it exists, but I've never seen it.
I remember being a kid and watching a lot of Swamp Thing stuff. Like, I remember the animated series. I remember the live action series that would come on too. They were really trying to build them out.
The movie must have come out around the same time too, right?
The
like
movie
early 90s?
with Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah, the Wes Craven one. That's gotta.
It was, let's see,
or at least
late 80s. Yeah. Actually, fuck us. 1982 was Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
Wow, really? Damn, I thought it'd be like way later. Because I figured it was all kind of in that same time period. Like let's make a live action movie, a cartoon, and a show, and see which one makes us money, like they did with Turtles.
So you're not wrong, because what we're looking at here is the Return of Swamp Thing came out in '89. And Return of Swamp Thing was directed by Jim Wynorski. But
hey! Whoa, no! The doggies, all right?
They're good. I don't know what she went after, but they went nuts. Here, look, I'll prove it to everybody. Look, there they are.
Looking at
there they are. They're
right
being
now.
good friends.
They're just sitting there calm. They're trying to get the
Well,
pizza.
it's an
That's what
empty
they want.
box that's been sitting there for like a week and a half, and there's nothing in it. Wow. Okay.
On that note, I guess let's get out of here so you can take care of your dogs.
That was fucking bananas.
Well, we'll talk some Jim Razorski Swamp Thing next week.
Yeah,
on-
for sure.
on
Bro.
air.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah. Yarn_Yeti at Instagram.
You follow me at the fantasy shit. All right. Peace out, motherfuckers. Swamp.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch.